Hi there, welcome to Hedera Wyckoff Technical Analysis session. So Hedera has been regaining some strength, but where is it heading actually, and why do I say in the title that it's heading towards a breakout point in 2 weeks time? Let's find out from both the weekly and the daily charts. Here, we're seeing the weekly chart. As usual, we start with the higher level time frame because the daily is going to be restrained by what's happening in the weekly. And what we're seeing here is this white dashed line that I've drawn a couple of sessions back, and then also the current price movements. It has been consistently since late July, always under this white dashed line. And if we look at this upward channel box, you see that the price is heading towards across here between this white dashed line and the bottom edge of the box. Last week and this week both rebound from the bottom edge, as we can see. If I enlarge this, you see the wicks are actually touching the base or the bottom edge of the box. I might as well take this opportunity just to adjust this box a little, because the wick is a bit outside of the box right now. Just a slight touch will do. Okay, so this is the point where it's near middle of the month, so we still have next week's candle and then the week after. That's the week starting October 13th. But I mentioned a lot of times that a breakout doesn't necessarily wait till the very tip to happen. That's the latest date or the latest week in terms of the weekly chart that the breakout will happen. And when that happens, when it reaches this cross or this wedge or pennant, if you're into candlestick pattern analysis, that's when either one of the scenarios happen. Either it's going to break above this line, this resistance line, and then head towards at least the center of this upward channel box. It may eventually test the light blue key level as well. So the first stop would obviously be this yellow key level at around 25 cents, I believe. Yeah, and then the next stop will be the 29 cents key level, the green one, and eventually the 33 cents, the light blue key level. So last time when we see this was already late June, where it started to climb all the way till late July. That's almost exactly a month. This time we're seeing this slightly downward movement. Would it repeat the same, say in October? It's starting much like what happened back in late June, and then for 4 consecutive weeks it's going to go higher and higher and head towards the upwards. That's, for now, I'm still keeping it as a 50-50 chance, because when I look at the volume, it's consistently declining. It doesn't seem like there is much of a big support or either big selling. So it seems like people are waiting for a direction change to happen before they take action. So sign of weakness, again keeping at 50%, because I only talked about the first scenario when the breakout happens. So that's the upside, but then there is also the downside as well. So when it reaches this point, if it comes down and break below the orange key level of 20 cents, it will eventually come down to test the red and eventually this white line over here. So the white line is the top edge of the long-term playground zone. So after 21 cents, 17 cents 50, it will eventually come down to test this area. This top edge of the box, or the ceiling of this zone, is not a horizontal line. So depending on when the price is going to hit this line, it will be at a different level. So the support would be slightly or slowly increasing over time. So that's the big picture. And also, if it really if the price really falls outside of this upward channel box, it can still stay above the orange key level for another week or two before it reaches another time point here at the beginning of November. So it will be the last week of October, and including the first maybe 1 to 2 days of November. If the price really trades narrow underneath this white dashed line but outside of the upward channel box, that's another breakout time point. So 2 time points we talked about, and if it really trades above this and doesn't stay or doesn't go above the 25 cents yellow key level, this mid-November time point is another breakout point, but we still have time to cover those when it happens. So in a couple of weeks time we'll come back to see how far this has go in terms of the weekly. So let's take a look at the daily. We have marked a couple of tags over here, and if it really has happened in the way that we talked about in previous session, this is pretty much confirmed as the selling climax for the daily chart, and we are seeing probably the top of the automatic rally. This again, it's time to remove the question mark, so it seems like these 3 stages has already happened. So last time when we had the selling climax back in beginning of September, almost like it's not exactly 1 month ago, so 3 weeks after that we've got another selling climax seemingly, and the automatic rally got higher there as well, but then got rejected by this yellow dashed line. So that's the line that's formed by all these sign of weaknesses back in earlier this year in late June, early August, mid-August, and then end of August, near the end of August. So that's why we're seeing these sort of price rejection at this level. So this line still has its effect on the price surge. So again, this is edging towards this mid-October time point. If we extend this yellow line over all the way to this side, we'll see there's another time point near the end of October. This is the 25th. So assuming the price successfully passes through this resistance line, the white line, somewhere between then till October 25th, like sometime before that date, a breakout will happen. If you look at the triangle or the wedge over here, it's an ascending triangle according to candlestick pattern analysis, but in many sessions I've already shared that it's not always the case that the price will follow. Say this ascending triangle is a bullish sign, but I've seen or shared multiple examples that the price doesn't move the same as the definition in the textbook theory. But that's the thing, right? It gives us some indication, though we have to decide whether to trust it completely or not, and the answer is obviously no. So here, if we move according to the Wyckoff method, if it really is inside an accumulation cycle in the daily time frame, what would we see next is highly likely a second test. So that was what happened back in here in early September. The automatic rally fell down to the second test and then quickly re-enter another mini distribution cycle, and now we're at another selling climax and also seeing the automatic rally as well. So that's why I said the likely scenario is for the price to come down for a second test, but it may be somewhere higher because this blue line over here is providing pretty strong support, at least for the time being. So after second test, it may trade sideways for a bit. So if we extend this yellow line, if nothing surprising happens, it will eventually break above this white dashed line if it doesn't come down for a lower level test. So this hasn't happened yet, but it still can. So meaning, if it really falls outside of this upward channel box, this blue line over here, and eventually also passes through the orange, that's when it's going to hit this test or spring level. That's a level lower than the selling climax. Okay, so let's quickly check whether I've missed anything. The Bollinger Band counter squeeze currently, there's no squeeze. This squeeze over here, the first leg down, but then it shot up just to get a little bit lower, even lower. I'm trying to see whether there's a declining trend being established, because currently the price is still trading within this upward channel box. Once the price has fallen outside of this box, it's time to draw a downward channel box to see whether the price is actually going through such a stage. As of this moment, it seems it's still floating at the upper half if there is really a descending channel. So it's too early to tell. Okay, so that's pretty much the daily. Second test expected. Maybe there are some bounces. I am not confident that the sign of strength is going to appear that early, but it can. So one way it can happen is the automatic rally comes down to the second test, and then the price rebounds, goes through the white dashed line, and then hit this dual resistance. So when I say dual resistance, it's both this yellow dashed line as well as the bottom edge of the upward channel box. Because once the price has fallen outside of the box, the bottom edge of the channel box becomes a resistance line. So that's one way it can happen. So maybe, just for fun, let's keep this line over here. By the time we come back in the next session, next week, we'll see whether that's going to happen in such a way. If it does, it's just by coincidence I draw this V shape and it happened that way. Because when we look at the weekly chart, the breakout, if it really comes to this side, it's only one of the three options I talk about, right? So it can go all the way down, shoot up, and this is only the third scenario. So let's see which one is going to eventually show up when next week we come back to Hedera. Thanks for joining me, and I'm going to move on to the next session. See you over there.